Hi, Shannon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Luigi.
Listen, you have a good news to share with the world today, so let's get started with that one.
So I've launched my new book called Prompted Not Present, how AI is basically making us, I hate to say dumb, but it's taking away our ability to strategically think and be creative and have clarity. So many of us, and it's dangerous. So many of us have this innate want to move faster. And so we're using AI and basically outsourcing our brains and outsourcing our strategic thinking to generative AI. And instead of working through problems and trying to use our experiences and our knowledge, we're just relying on AI to solve our problems for us. So we're skipping a lot of the essential steps for strategic thinking using generative AI. I also wrote the book from the perspective of a parent, and I see how AI is affecting my kids and them skipping the knowledge gathering and wisdom gathering steps altogether of having a problem and going straight to AI for the solution rather than taking a problem, thinking through it, trying to figure out a solution, and then gaining knowledge and experience through the struggles. I thought it was
Oh,
kind of a
interesting.
timely.
I'll look forward to read it. I've already read the other one that I have here. I hope yes, here we go, showing up.
Yes,
You are
yeah,
becoming
my
you're
first.
becoming a, a great editor. Fantastic, fantastic.
Thank you,
Okay,
thank
let's
you.
get into our questions. So the first one, word that represents you and why.
Ooh, that is difficult for me. I've done so much in my life, and it's hard for me to kind of talk about myself, but one word is just me. I'm just me. I don't know how to explain my experiences or what I've done in life. And so when people say, encourage me to talk about myself, I say, I'm just Shannon. I'm just me. I don't know what else to say. I've had some incredible opportunities in my lifetime to work for the United Nations and then various different organizations in executive leadership positions. And if you look back on paper, I've had a really impressive career, but at the same time, it's like, I'm just me.
Very good, very good. And if we were to look at it from the angle of an animal, who would you think which one would you choose?
Hmm. If I had to choose an animal, I probably would be, I'm a dog person, so I would probably say a dog.
Okay.
I would think of myself as kind of like the loyal companion, in a lot of situations. My husband Troy, he's a Fortune 500 CISO, and I love supporting everything that he does and just being a companion in life to him and everything that he does as well. So oftentimes you'll find me, just kind of more in a supportive role than, trying to take the forefront and everything. Uh, I guess kind
You
of loyal
shouldn't
companion. I don't know how to explain that.
be modest. You have, as you said, a fantastic career. So, if you look at that, what would you say is being probably your most proud moment or project or activity? Something that you really remember cheerfully and you want to share.
Ooh, so proud moment in my career. Yeah. So a proud moment in my career probably would be when I got hired for my most recent role as the CIO and CISO for Finley Automotive Group. And the story how I was hired is kind of wild. So Troy got a text from a gentleman that he knew that he went through the FBI Citizens Academy with. And he said, "Hey, we've had an incident. We're looking for a new CISO. Do you know anybody who might be interested?" Of course, Troy was like, "Oh, yeah, I do." And so he wrote this amazing introduction to me, telling them who I was and all the things that I've done in my career. And just that letter from him, really impressed them for my background. And I went in for an interview, and they basically said, "Hey, you're the perfect fit for the organization, as well as not just the technical skills, but culturally." I was blown away. The interview process for the position took 3 days, and I was just like, "That's crazy!" From the initial introduction to going in for the interview and actually having um, the position offered to
So,
me.
yeah,
It was
well done.
crazy how quickly it happened and just how I guess, how interested they were in everything that I had done, and what
Well,
I had done in my career and my technical skills and everything. So
kudos
I
to you.
was pretty
Kudos to you.
proud and pretty, I guess, humbling too. Of maybe I have done some pretty cool things in my life.
You do, you do. So I'm doing this series of interviews also in collaboration with the Women for Cyber group here in Europe. I have, kind of a thinking that we do need to, of course, increase inclusion and diversity in our industry, but we need to do more as men to make it happen. So, from your perspective, if you had to say one thing that a man can do to help, having more diversity and inclusion in our industry, what that would be?
Well, there's a lot of things men can do to help, but I
Mhm.
think one of the most important things that men can do to help would be to be mentors.
Okay.
So if you look at women in cyber, you can't just jump into cyber at the very top levels. For a lot of the positions, you need to work through, you need to gain the experience. And that means you need to start at kind of those entry level or those lower level positions and then gain experience and basically time in the position. So I would say having mentors that can guide you through that career journey is a huge help. And I think one of the areas that men can really assist in is being mentors to the generation of analysts that are coming up through the ranks, and
Hmm.
whatever the position may be, but just being there, not necessarily to be a technical mentor of teaching technical skills, but giving career advice and really sitting down with people and saying, what do you want to do? Because there's so many different career paths within cyber, that people may have not even thought about. There's
Absolutely, absolutely. And staying talking about cyber, if you had a magic wand and you could change something in our industry, what that would be?
So that that's kind of a funny one. I would say having more people understand that cybersecurity is not just a technical thing. It's not just that, that the old adage of it's an IT problem, but instead, cybersecurity really has, I think, in recent years moved from being relegated to the kids' table at Thanksgiving to being a real part of the business. And I think one of the realizations for businesses has been, when there's a cyber incident, just how much technology enables a business to run. So cybersecurity has kind of gone from being that, IT problem to being actually, hey, this is a business risk and I need to engage my cybersecurity executive leadership in strategic business discussions, because cybersecurity and IT, it's a business enabler. So I think the magic wand would be to have more organizations realize that we're not just the technical people sitting in the IT room or the server room or something like that programming, but we're actually partners in the business to ensure that the business runs, that the organization can make profit, and we're not just the technical geeks in the background.
Absolutely, and definitely not the no people. So great. So
Right.
let's back to your book, and artificial intelligence. Obviously, in our industry has been kind of the buzzword for the last 2-3 years in all sorts of perspective and angles.
Yes.
Some say it's the worst thing that could possibly happen because it gives criminal new powers and speed and velocity and so on. Others say no, it's great for defenders because we get these new tools that allows us to sift through data, organize information in a much better and consumable way. What is your perspective? Is it where is gonna bring us? Is it positive, net negative?
So Troy and I've for a long time had this saying about AI and machine learning, is that machine learning is written in Python, AI is written in PowerPoint. And I think from an industry perspective, I think we're still very much in that kind of PowerPoint and infancy stage of the journey with AI and what it can do for us. There's been a rush for organizations to say that they have AI built into their products. But if you press them on what that means to them, pretty much every single company will tell you something different. So there's no real standard of what it means to have AI in your product and what it does. From a perspective of what does it mean for the industry as a whole as time goes on, I think it'll probably be a net between both the adversaries and the defenders. So, as the defenders get better, the adversaries will get better through the use of AI. And it will be, again, it'll just boil down to the race against time and how quickly can we detect. I think that's kind of
Predict in
the
our
future.
cases.
Exactly, exactly.
So back to your career and all your experience. If there is one learning, something you have learned, a lesson that you could pass to someone new in the industry, what that would be?
That's a good question. I think a good lesson that I could pass on to people in the industry, and it wouldn't just be technical or cybersecurity or anything like that, but it would be just to be yourself and bring your best self to the organization. I've seen this particularly with women in the industry, is they try to mold themselves
Mm,
into what they think the organization wants, and they're not true to themselves. You know, they'll dress a certain way, or they'll act a certain way of what they think that they should be presenting on the outside. And unfortunately, what that means is that you're not bringing your best self, you're not bringing your best ideas to the organization, you're holding yourself back. And in a way, um, by not bringing your best self, you're also kind of, I don't want to say damaging the organization, but you're not bringing as much of yourself and your ideas and your problem solving skills to the organization that you can. So, you know, you're holding yourself back, but you're also holding the organization back by not being true to yourself.
and I think it resonates with me because what I see is that everyone bringing a different perspective actually make us much stronger, right? With
Yes,
these
absolutely.
different
Absolutely.
capabilities, different perspective. To your earlier point, we're just not in a pure technical career,
Yeah,
despite what
exactly.
people think from
And
the
if
outside.
we are all just carbon copies of each other, you know, we'll never have new fresh ideas. We'll never have like a difference of, you know, opinion when it comes to solving
Hmm.
a problem. We'll never have that kind of thinking outside the box type of problem solving skills. So it's important to have those different perspectives. And it does. I mean, there's plenty of studies and plenty of statistics that show that those type of differencing opinions and everything like that makes organizations better. And even I think there's even studies that say that they make organizations more profitable.
Absolutely, by far, by far. So, getting toward the end of the interview, which question I should have asked you I didn't ask?
I can't really think of anything. We've
Okay,
covered so much, but yeah.
very good, very good. So, listen, it's been a fantastic conversation, and I so much look forward to read the book. Uh, by the way, I'll put down here in the description, obviously, LinkedIn profile, so people can follow you, start to engage in conversation. You're an
No,
extremely
absolutely.
interesting person for the times we have had conversation together, and much looking forward to the future together. Thank you.
Thanks, Luigi.